I've got a wedding tomorrow, so I thought I'd give you a quick tour through my camera bag to give you some examples of things you can consider when you're planning a wedding and need to know what kit you're going to bring. So I have two camera bodies. I have my D800 right here and I have my Sony A7R III filming right now. You should always have two camera bodies with you if you're going to shoot a wedding, because you never know when you might fall backwards into a fountain, or you might just fall over and snap a lens off or something terrible like that. But also, you should have two cameras because it makes shooting weddings way, way easier. Now, I use one of these. It's a shoulder strap and you can fix two cameras to it. It just webs over your shoulders like that and you can hang two cameras there. If you put a different lens on each camera, it makes rocking around so much easier. You can quickly switch between the two. It's a great investment. Links in the notes below. It's only about 20 quid. It's a really, really good thing to have. So when you're thinking about lenses, really want to cover the range of things. And when I first started out, I got 3 key lenses that would cover any situation for weddings, and they lasted me like 8 years. What we're looking to do is capture the entire focal range that we're going to need. So the first lens that I have is this 24-70 2.8. It's a really, really nice lens. It goes really wide, it's nice and shallow, and it captures everything in a room. It's really good for like room decorations, for table decorations. It's really good for group shots, and because it's got a small zoom there, you can crop in easily. Call it my lazy boy lens because it's just one of those lenses that'll just get you through whatever. It's a real workhorse. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a standout lens in terms of the look. It can change, the look can change as you go through the zoom on it, but it will get the job done, and a really, really good lens to just have in a bag and know that you've got it and it's going to do what you need it to do. The next one is this beast, and you can get one of these beasts on any brand wherever you are. It's a 70-200 2.8 and it weighs a lot, but it is amazing. It's 2.8 all the way through, and what I like about this particular lens, it kind of looks the same all the way through no matter where you are in the zoom. It's really, really sharp, and it's got loads of applications. Now, my first favorite application for this is actually portraits, because the zoom lens allows you to create what's called compression, where you pull the background towards the foreground and you blend them together to create some gorgeous blended shots. That's something you only get with a big telephoto lens like this, and it looks amazing because at 2.8 it's going to give you loads of nice blur and looking super, super sharp. It's also really good for candid shots because you can just pick people off far away. Really, really versatile, but it does weigh a lot, so it's not attached to my camera all the time. What I use more is prime lenses, which are a lot smaller and easier. So when I don't need that versatility, I'll use a prime lens, and a prime lens is a lens with a fixed focal length. Instead of having a zoom, it's just one specific focal length. Now, my favorite prime lens is this lens. It is an 85mm 1.8. Gorgeous, gorgeous portrait focal length. This one creates amazing bokeh with a nice shallow depth of field, and it's a beautiful look. It's very, very flattering for women especially, and it's just one of those focal lengths that looks great for portraits. I use it for all my kind of close-up shots and portrait shots. Leaves a lovely, lovely skin tone. It looks amazing, and it just really gives that good isolation for people. Very, very flattering lens, and because it's a prime lens, nice and small and easy to work with. But if you want to start mixing it up, you can start getting more prime lenses, and what prime lenses do is they give you a more consistent look and feel throughout, and they tend to go a lot wider in aperture, which gives you some nice shallow depth of field. A nice prime lens to consider is a little 35mm 1.8 like this. Super small, super light, and got an amazing documentary feel to it. I love the way this looks. It's nice and kind of set back, so you don't have to be right in the action, but you can capture the action looking just like a documentary. It's got a lovely, lovely look to it. Now, if you want to mix it up all the way, you can invest in something way bigger like this. This is a prime lens. This is a Sony Zeiss f1.4 50mm. It's a very expensive prime lens, but it is an incredible lens. It is crazy, crazy sharp, and it just has an amazing documentary look to it. It's a lot to spend, and if I was on a budget, I would go with 3 cheaper prime lenses rather than 1 giant expensive prime lens like this. It will get you set up a lot better, and prime lenses come in a few price categories. They start off in a sort of £100, £200, and they tend to be the plasticky ones. Good to try out, but won't last long. The ones you kind of want to look at more the £400, £500 mark. They give you a really good robust body. They tend to come in 1.8 apertures, and they're really rugged and they're going to last you a long time. When you want to move beyond 1.8 down to 1.4 or less, you're going to end up spending like 1,500 quid a lens. So use that wisely, find out what you want for. So I recommend you try out a lot of this stuff by renting it beforehand. Then you're going to know exactly what it's like, and you're going to know whether you want to get it. Don't just guess at what you think you want. Do try stuff out beforehand. It doesn't cost a lot to rent it, and it's going to give you some really good insights as to whether that lens is something that you want to invest in. Flash wise, because I'm shooting Nikon at the moment, I have these SB900s. They're great. They connect together wirelessly. They trigger each other off. They work magically. But you can get much cheaper flashes like Yongnuo flashes, and I'll put a link below, that are going to cost you much less, and you can fire them off with radio triggers. So whatever works for you, and again, it's going to be very budget orientated, but don't feel like you have to spend hundreds of pounds on flashes. At the moment, I'm shooting Nikon because I've been shooting Nikon for years, and I've yet to upgrade, with the exception of my Sony, which I'm using right now, which is why I can't show you it. But I will be moving into another brand. I'm still undecided whether I go all out on Sony or whether I mix it up with Canon and Sony. But if you are looking to invest and you've got the money, then Canon and Sony are amazing brands to consider. There are cheaper brands like Panasonic that do amazing cameras like the GH5, so don't think that they are the only ones and that you're obligated to spend this much. But if you are looking in the full frame industry, I think personally, Canon and Sony are the ones to be looking into. If you've enjoyed this video, hit subscribe below, and if you want to get notifications from me, smash that bell icon and you'll get the latest updates from me as well. And I will see you all again in the next video. See ya.